Let's welcome in our morning guest. Siddharth Sadani is now with us. Ruchit Jain is with us, as well as Vijay Chopra. Mr. Chopra, Pharma, last week you told us that, they are coming to attractive levels, but you would be worried looking at the numbers. And that's precisely what Sun Pharma has done.
Yes, and I would be further worried because the kind of numbers companies are posting, and mind you, these are large companies. Look at Glenmark, Lupin, Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's. None of the numbers have been above expectations. So all the companies have been failing in one dimension or the other. So I would say that it's better to stay away from pharma as of now. Let the dust settle down, and before taking any further buy positions, I would say that we should wait for certain things. One, that the Modi government is talking about coming to a generics kind of a regime where brands will be vanished. So all these companies have large brands, and I've been iterating this since last few weeks that if all these big companies lose brands, I'm sure that balance sheets would be hurt big time. So better to stay away from pharma as of now, and there are other opportunities in the market. So better to be there, and the return on investment would be better there. So no fresh positions recommended on pharma.
Right, and also stay away irrespective of prices going down. So there is always that temptation, when a big outperforming sector goes down, one would want to buy, one would want to be a little overweight. Just wait for that temptation.
Yes, definitely. And, as they say in the market, that never try to catch the falling knife. So I would say that, let's see, as I said earlier, that let the dust settle down. And there would be a time when probably these companies could be bought into, but not at this point of time, because, we have seen a major crack in the stock prices. Look at Wockhardt, Lupin, Glenmark. They are almost trading, they have literally halved in the last 1 year. US FDA has been categorically very harsh on their manufacturing practices, and I'm sure that all these companies have to set their house in order if they need to be competitive globally. The company Taro did not post numbers as expected, so there was a dip there as well. So if you look at the domestic scenario as well as the global scenario, I think that there is some kind of a pain left in pharma. So before taking fresh positions, I'm again iterating that let's wait for some time, and then probably maybe 4 weeks down the line we can take a call.
Right, Siddharth, what would be your call on the pharma pack?
Good morning, Pankaj. Well, in terms of pharma is concerned, one has to be very selective. One of the results which has recently come out, that is Cadila, we are constructive and positive on Cadila, along with Alchem also, although less traded counter. But overall perspective, Cadila in terms of their facilities, I think it is very near to getting its clearance in terms of most of the facilities in a medium-term perspective. And on that regards, we believe numbers will be better in terms of Cadila. If we talk about the other companies, likes of Sun Pharma, of course, the results have been very bad. And the main worrisome factor would be US sales coming down 25%. Again, that is also one of the factors which really concerns the investor. So overall perspective, pharma, one has to be very selective. And as a pack, if someone wants to take a contra call, I think this is not the right time. I think we should wait out for another 1 quarter as a pack to take a contra call. Individual stories can definitely play out.
Right, Ruchit, Sun Pharma pre-open session is indicating 530. I think that's a new level altogether, really a long time. Can you just tell us what are the levels to watch on Sun Pharma?
Good morning, Pankaj. Pankaj, overall, if we see, then the way the stock has seen a downfall in last 4-5 trading sessions with very huge volumes, this is clearly an indication that this is the wave 3 which is going down, and usually wave 3s are very sharp, whether it's on the upside or on the downside. So definitely, I think this has also opened a further downside probability for this stock. Even if you observe the weekly charts, and since November till last week, the stock was probably trading in a range wherein 600 was a very strong support. Now on Friday's trading session, we have already seen the stock closing well below that 600 support mark. So on the lower side, one needs to see at the monthly charts, and on the monthly charts, the next support for the stock is somewhere coming around 515 to 505 range. Although it won't be, the stock is already opening quite low from current levels. Even if it goes to 515, 505, I think then we should see some sort of consolidation coming in this stock.
Right. Vijay, could you start with your picks as well?
I would like to recommend first three stocks for today. My first call is BHEL. I think that the stock has bottomed out in the short to medium term, and it can inch up further. The stock closed at 159 rupees on Friday. It could be bought for a target of 180, and a stop loss of 150 should be strictly kept on the stock. My second call would be JSPL, another stock which has very nicely consolidated in the lower levels. It touched the low of 102 lately, and I think that this stock too has the potential of inching up. The closing price was 125. It could be bought for a target of 135, and a stop loss of 117 should be strictly kept on the stock. My final call would be Tata Steel. Again, a good run-up shown by the company, and I think that there is still steam left. The closing price of the stock was 511. It could be bought for a target of 530, and a stop loss of 500 should be strictly kept on the stock.
Right. Siddharth, what are your calls?
Well, first call would be from the auto ancillary pack, that is Gabriel India. Company has been doing good in terms of volumes, which is coming up from the passenger vehicle and commercial vehicle front, which is again expanding the revenues. Company recently has got good orders from the two-wheeler pack also, especially companies like iShare and TVS for that matter. Apart from that, railway offers a very good opportunity for the company going forward. So company is expecting some kind of a good growth in terms of order book from the railways. Even company is going for a capex of around 50 crores to increase its R&D facilities and improve its quality completely. So in terms of valuation and everything, I think the kind of growth is expected in auto ancillary pack. Gabriel looks very interesting with a target of 164. Second idea would be KEC International. Again, this is a pure result play. 91% profit growth was there. 140 basis point EBITDA margin expansion was seen. Apart from that, 20% earning growth is expected. And as per the guidance, sales growth is also expected 15% going forward. So overall perspective, trading at 18 times FY19, I think KEC International looks very interesting with a target of 325. The last company would be Finolex Cable, again with a target of 640. We like this company because of a reason that this company is in electrical and communication cables and been doing good in terms of volumes. Has launched a lot of products, consumer products like fans, water heaters are expected to come. So company is trying to get into from a cable company to a electrical, completely electrical solution company. And for that, I think the company, what valuation it commands around 20 times and 70 times FY19. I think it is inexpensive to the other electrical companies. Finolex Cable, in terms of the pricing, in terms of the valuation, looks the most interesting play in the electrical segment entirely, with a target of 640.
Right. Ruchit, what would be your calls?
I have a couple of buy recommendations just from a short-term trading perspective. First is a buy call in NMDC. Overall, we have seen a good bounce back coming in again during last week in the entire metal sector as a whole. NMDC has retraced some of the previous gains and is right now trading near its medium-term support of 112. So we believe that from here a pullback rally should come in NMDC in next 1 week. So one can go long at current levels, keeping stop loss below 111 for target of 129. And my second call is to go long in Indiabulls Housing Finance. It has been one of the stock which has outperformed the broader markets from the mid-cap space. Also, a high top, high bottom structure is in place. Recently, the stock has shown a good consolidation of about 8 to 10 trading sessions, and on Friday, we have seen resumption of the uptrend in the stock. So, the stock we believe would head higher towards 1145, 1150 kind of levels. One can go long at current levels with keeping stop loss below 1040, and both the recommendations are just from 1 week's point of view.
All right, let's now focus on some earnings and stocks that will react to their earnings. Tech Mahindra is one stock we'll watch out for. Now, in pre-opening, this stock is already indicating a lower opening. The earnings were disappointing because there was a big drop in the margin. Sales came in at 7,495 crore rupees. Profit after tax saw a drop of 30%, coming in at 588 crore rupees. We had EBIT of 615 crore rupees versus 938 crore rupees. increase on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Margins fell by 400 basis points on a sequential basis, and this was due to both poor cost control as well as pricing pressures that really led to a deep contraction in the margins. The margin decline continues, and this is the third disappointing quarter in a row when it comes to earnings. What do you think about Tech Mahindra, Ruchit? What would you do with this stock?
So if we observe the positional charts, then the stock has a very strong support around 385 to 380 range, where on the monthly charts 89 EM is coming, and also the entire previous uptrend which was there in the stock, about 50% retracement is coming at those levels. So after a decent gap down opening today, the stock is hinting at already opening at that support levels. So I don't think there would be significant downside post opening in this stock. In fact, we should see some kind of recovery, since this is a very long term support on this stock. So I think if one should not go short in spite of this gap down opening. In fact, I believe that we should see some sort of pullback again in the stock once the stock opens around the support of 380, 385.
Right, 380, 385. Tech Mahindra is also indicating a 10% decline, and numbers were really bad in terms of margins, and that's the reason what the market is trying to factor in. Sun Pharma and Tech Mahindra from the large cap space will be in focus. A lot of companies from the mid cap space will be in focus. We are just seconds away from markets to open, so let's just see or just wait and watch for these initial reactions. Names like India Cement, both the Crompton companies declared their numbers. A lot of companies, Sun TV declared its numbers, Cadila, Alchem from the pharma pack, TVs from the pharma pack, all of them declared numbers. So markets would be reacting to that. Markets would be adjusting based on what the management has said. These are first trades for you in terms of Nifty, down about 40 to 50 odd points. Aurobindo Pharma numbers today looking on the flat side. Cipla 497, about 8 to 9 rupees higher. ACC flat, Dr. Reddy's on the flattish side. Let's look at what's happening with some of these names that we spoke about. Sun Pharma is down close to about 9 odd percent immediately. Tech Mahindra is down about 10 odd percent. Would not be surprised if it actually goes down even further from here on, because margins were a very, very big disappointment. Sun Pharma is down close to about 9 to 10 odd percent, 519, 520 for Sun Pharma. Very, very strong move coming in for Sun Pharma on the first tick itself. These are two large cap companies that we are talking about. These are companies that drive their sector leading valuation, and still you're getting this sort of a move that is coming onto these companies. Tech Mahindra is now down close to about 11 odd percent. That's about 379 for Tech Mahindra. That's clearly a very, very big cut that one is talking about. Sun Pharma is also now down 10%. I think it's hit a lower circuit. It should open in the next 5 to 7 odd minutes. That's ONGC, not reacting much, of course, ONGC, but it was also looking at the numbers, not expected to react much. So that's essentially what ONGC is doing at this point of time. Let's look at Sun TV. I think that's down about 2.5 odd percent, but not much in terms of movement. It's not much that one can actually read into as far as Sun TV is concerned. DLF is down about 3 odd percent. That's again the first reaction that you're getting to numbers. Not much again to read into it. Debt went up, but this is a company that doesn't really react to numbers much. Let's look at India Cement. There the debt increased marginally. That's being factored in by the market right now. It's down around 1% or so. Let's look at Mahanagar Gas and Indraplus Gas. Both these companies declared their numbers. Let's look at these names as well. That's MGL for you, 17,000 shares traded. Let's look at IGL as well. That's Indraplus Gas. That's up around 1% or so. Pharma as a pack continues to bleed, continues to go down, and you have technology also today, which is not looking that good. Shakti Sugar, 16,000 shares in terms of volumes, 3 odd percent in terms of decline. So that's what Shakti Sugar is doing. Alchem Labs, but really no volume. So we'll have to just wait for volumes to pick up. Cadila Healthcare is up about 10 rupees or so, 2.5 to 3% higher. Remember, it's a company which has done well versus the pharma pack, but numbers were decent. They were not good, they were not bad as well. So that's what they've done. Zydus Wellness is up around 1% or so. It's a part of the Cadila Group company, but of course it's a separate listed company. So they're bound to give numbers separately as well. Crompton Consumers, nothing much that one can read into this, 224. Numbers were absolutely in line. There was no movement post these numbers as well. Anisha, any other mid-cap names with good volumes?
Yes, there are many today, Pankaj. Let's start with the losers. You've already highlighted the earnings impact. We've got Adani Power down 8% now. Reliance Communications is down 6% and JP Associates is down 3%. So we are seeing some swift profit taking in some of these high beta names. The Reliance Communication in any case has been on a losing spree for the last few sessions. On the gaining side, we are seeing Indosolar up in again it's up 10%. Syntex is up 5%. PTC India is up 3%. Subex is up 3%. And JSPL is up 3%. JSPL has had a stellar run. For the last 1 week, it's up about 14% and it continues with its up move. NDCC is up 2%. We are seeing RCF up 2%. BPCL is up 1.5% and Vedanta also up about 1%. So some of the metal counters still looking pretty attractive. The markets are down about 0.25%, bouncing off the lows of the day. The metals are the stocks doing well, but healthcare and IT are proving to be quite a drag coming in for the stocks today. Vijay, we've also seen earnings coming from ONGC, from from a number of the oil marketing companies as well. How would you approach this space now? The OPEC meet is also now behind us. Where would you put your money to work, if at all, in the oil and gas space?
Well, I think that OMCs are a good bet, but probably I would look for some kind of a correction to get into these stocks. ONGC, I think that the stock has been sliding, and in case we see further correction in crude, so probably we'll see ONGC coming down further. But OMCs, I would prefer in the oil and gas space. Reliance is the best bet as of now, and I think that this stock has the potential of going up to 1500. So definitely, Reliance would be my best pick in the oil and gas space.
Right. Let's just look at Tech Mahindra. I was just looking at the valuations of the company now that it's down about 13%. It's still cheapest among the large cap space, but it's down 13% or 14% rather now. Very, very strong move. Mr. Chopra, we spoke about pharma, valuations. Of course, there are risks over there. But even for IT, despite valuations, earnings outlook not being that great, just avoid, because any disappointment, and you can see such a reaction for a company like Tech Mahindra, which has already been a very big underperformer.
Well, if this kind of a response comes from the market, and market has clearly given a thumbs down to Tech Mahindra, I think that one should wait, and there are a lot of issues related to H1B visas, their businesses in US, the cost of hiring going high. Infosys has planned to hire 10,000 people in the United States and lay off a number of people. So the kind of pink slips which are floating around in the country, that could create some kind of a intermediary panic. But I think that a time to stay away from IT as of now for a short while, and then let the dust settle down, as I mentioned in pharma as well. So I would be a buyer in IT only when there is clarity on the future business. The guidance of all the companies has been kind of tepid. We have not heard any aggressive guidance from any of the management. So my sense is that let's stay away from IT and pharma as of now, because both of them are dependent upon the other countries. Number two, the rupee has been strengthening. So this is another blow to the balance sheet of most of the IT companies and most of the companies which are into exports. So again, a major thumbs down. Probably the stock can come up, but again, this has shown clear weakness on structurally as well.
Right, Siddharth, technology. Any names that you like, or the sort of cuts that are visible on the screen again tells you that there are a lot of players who want to sell in the market?
No, of course, structurally there is pressure on the IT space, and especially on the mid-cap, large-cap space. But I think there are some ideas which is really available in the mid-cap IT space. If we talk about the numbers also, numbers were also good for companies like Mindtree or Majesco and Cyient for that matter. So in mid-cap IT space, there are some companies for shopping which is available. I think companies like Cyient, which has posted a good set of numbers. In fact, the company has been doing good in terms of the entire business is concerned. And the concerns which is emanating from US, that is H1B visa, I think companies 80% recruit, on-site recruit is locals. US locals. So I think on that matter also company doesn't have to worry. In fact, the margins is expected to increase in coming quarters. So Cyient for that matter looks good. Persistent System is also one company which one can look at with a 2-year horizon. Although the numbers were not that exciting, but I think the IBM IoT tie-up will flow in the bottom line very soon. So the numbers also will improve. So looking at the mid-cap IT space, we like Cyient and Persistent System.
Right. Ruchit, on oil marketing companies, what will be a call that you have? Some of them have done well after numbers like HPCL, but IOC or names like IOC went down after the results. Any view on these names?
Yeah, Pankaj, overall, if we see the broader trend for all the three companies, HP, BP and IOC, the trend for the stock continues to remain positive. We have seen that last 1.5 months, all the three names have shown a consolidation phase, and it's good to see that these stocks usually show a time-wise correction rather than price correction whenever the momentum readings are into the overbought zone. So I believe that once this consolidation phase is over in IOC too, it will resume the uptrend the way we have seen the uptrend resumption in HP and BP in HPCL and BPCL in Friday's trading session. Yes, amongst the three stocks, if we have to see one of the stock, any stock that could outperform, then it should be HPCL. We have seen a good consolidation phase, and after the consolidation phase on Friday's trading session, the up move was backed by very huge volumes. So I believe that the trend for all the three companies would continue to remain positive in near term, but HPCL would be the outperformers. HPCL should show good outperformance within these three names. The support for the stock is now around 545, 550. So any minor dips around 550, if the stock comes, then that would be a good buying opportunity in HPCL.
Right. So HPCL should be among the top names within this space. Let's look at some of the other mid-cap names and what's happening. So, a lot in terms of results is actually changing or, looking to change. So you have Syntex, which is now again up about 5 to 6 odd %. Nalco is reacting to numbers on the positive side. So that's a company in the mid-cap space which is doing well. But apart from this, I don't think that there is a lot that you can read. Let's just pull up the stock of Cadila as well. I think it went up about 4-5% after the initial reaction, but now it's looking absolutely flat. So that's a slight bit of decline over there. Aurobindo Pharma would be declaring numbers today. Let's look at Aurobindo Pharma. 513 for Aurobindo Pharma right now. So that's down about 3.5 to about 4 odd %. So that's what Aurobindo is doing, about 3 to 3.5% in terms of decline. Tech Mahindra has recovered slightly. Arcom is reacting to numbers. That's down about 2 to 3 odd %. So that's going down. Indian Hotels, there has been some changes in their top management. There was some resignation, plus the numbers, of course, and it's down close to about 4.5 odd %. So these are the mid-cap space which are now trying to open up. We are 10 minutes into the trading session, so you have some volume pickup over here as well. Ruchit, any view on Nalco? Now, of course, the large cap metal pack has done well. We had some calls also coming on the large cap metal space. What will be your view on Nalco?
See, overall, Nalco also last 2.5 weeks, the prices have shown a good consolidation in the range of 69 to 64. Now today the stock is showing signs of the breakout from the trade. Now this could lead the prices higher in near term up to 76, 77 kind of levels. So along with the other metal specs, we also should see a good bounce back in this Nalco 2, and about 8 to 10% up move should be seen in near term. Any long positions now should be protected with the stop loss below 66 rupees, because that is now has become a short term support. So unless the stock goes below 66, the short term view would be positive for a bounce back probability up to 76, 77 kind of levels.
All right. What would you do with Dish TV, Vijay? The stock has corrected post its earnings and is looking weak today as well. Would you look now to sell this stock? Is there any point holding this stock? Because even for long-term investors, this stock has been rather range-bound.
Few fundamental things I would like to talk about, Anisha. One, that with the advent of internet TV, IPTV, and Reliance Jio also reckoning in the markets, I think that the future of dish related businesses is bleak. And of course the numbers of Dish TV have been fairly insipid and tepid. And I think that in such a case, it's better to stay out of the stock. There are other great opportunities in the market where money can be made. So why to get trapped into a stock which has a negative structure? Even if you look at the PE of the stock, it is about 81. So it's fairly expensive with 23 times price to book. So my sense is that this stock should be as of now it can be exited, and there are other opportunities in the market which can be looked at.
And as we speak, the markets have made a new high, which is a record high. We've come off the lows of the day very swiftly. We opened gap down, and now the markets are at the high of the day, 9,610. This is a new record high coming in for the Nifty. So the bulls are really taking charge, and every dip is being bought into. We are seeing a strong performance in the metals counters. Hindalco is the top gainer on the Nifty. HDFC, Vedanta, BPCL, IndusInd Bank and Tata Steel are the other gainers. So it's a complete reversal from the opening tick where we're now seeing the markets doing well. Siddharth, what would you do with DLF? It's come out with its earnings, nothing great. But for the real estate space, a lot of changes are coming up. And this is the heavyweight in that space. What would you do with this stock?
Well, we don't have a rating on the company, and we don't cover the company, although the real estate pack has been doing good, and especially in the states like Maharashtra after RERA, I think things are on a traction for the reality play. But overall perspective, still if you look at broadly, all the balance sheets are stretched. Some of the balance sheets are good because of lesser inventories, cash levels are coming in. So overall, I would not like to bet on real estate. Of course, for the initiatives what government has taken, like of housing for all or all that matter, I would like to bet on the housing finance companies rather than real estate companies, because housing finance companies offer me great value with a medium to long term perspective rather than reality companies.
All right. Vijay, you said you don't like the dish-oriented companies because of what is happening in the online space. What about a player like Sun TV? They do content, they have their own channels, they have radio stations as well. What's your view about Sun TV?
Well, it's a different ballgame altogether. I think that, Sun TV is a very different animal than, a Hathaway or a Dish TV. Because, the problem with Sun TV has been that they've been off and on into controversies. No problem with the company as such, because they do a lot of stuff related to media. My sense is that, this stock, if at all it comes to 750 odd, can be bought into for a target of 900. Fairly good stock. If at all there are no controversies coming, because, the promoters have been, coming into some kind of a soup every now and then. So this can drag the stock because, it talks about the corporate governance of the company and the way the company is being run. But again, no problem with the stock as such. My sense is that, it has the potential of going another, say, 100 odd rupees from here. But, can be bought into only in a correction, not right now.
All right, buy Sun TV in a correction. That's the view Vijay has. Vijay, Siddharth, what would you do with some of the bank names? ICICI Bank, Yes Bank, IndusInd Bank, all of them have done well. Would you hold on? Would you look to even buy more of any of these bank names?
Well, in terms of private banks are concerned, our view remains the same, and would like to reiterate a buy on Yes Bank as well as IndusInd Bank. And we believe that the performance, of course, the kind of controversy Yes Bank has got into, I think it is a knee-jerk reaction which we have seen in Yes Bank. I think Yes Bank and IndusInd Bank still offers a lot of value. We have a target of 1700 and 1743 for the companies. Apart from this, if we talk about value, what we find is to stick to the leader in the PSU banking space, that is State Bank of India, and we believe and our sense is that State Bank of India offers a lot of value in terms of consolidation is concerned. There would be a lot of issues resolved in terms of NPAs are concerned. Of course, we are seeing slippages under control since 3 quarters now. and it should remain going forward. And the kind of vision SBI has in terms of housing loan also, I think State Bank of India looks most interesting in the PSU banking space. If someone wants to take a position in the banking space, I think the first company would be State Bank of India to take a position on.
Right. In SBI, what do you think will be the trigger? How will the stock get re-rated?
Well, in SBI is concerned, as I mentioned, that consolidation plays a major role, although it has played out, one can say, a school of thoughts can say that it is already discounted. But once the numbers start flowing in well in terms of after consolidation, when the synergies play out well, I think this will be altogether a different ball game. Apart from that, the kind of mess we are seeing in terms of asset quality, especially in the mid-cap PSU space, I think that is not the way and that is not the concern in the State Bank of India. I think asset quality is under control. On top of it, slippages are under control. So improving numbers and improving efficiency of the company, even the loan growth factors, loan book factor, although the company has not seen a good growth, but I think coming quarters loan growth will be coming up. The private sector will start picking up, will start kicking in, and that will bring in a lot of value for the company.
Right. Mr. Chopra, do you agree PSU banks are, or at least the large PSU banks are the one that you can bet at these levels?
Absolutely. I like SBI. I like Bank of Baroda. Because these stocks have the potential of even doubling from here if you look at it, with a maybe 3 to 5 year perspective. A lot of positive things are happening in the banking space. The government is trying to, set the house in order. The bad bank is being talked about. Asset reconstruction companies are being talked to, and all these bad assets are probably being tried to come to be brought out of the books. So this would definitely make the books healthy. Of course, there has been a lot of wisdom which I see now in the banks as far as that the doling out of loans is concerned. They are overtly cautious now. So this is what was required earlier as well. Earlier there were a lot of large loans which were doled out left, right, and center without keeping all the checks and balances in place. But now I think RBI is getting more and more powerful as far as the loans are concerned. And I think with the new guidelines in place, these banks should do good in the medium to long term. But yes, there could be some kind of a correction in the short term. That cannot be ruled out considering the fact that the markets are at all-time highs. But yes, with a medium to long-term perspective, I like public sector banks and especially the large cap ones.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out time for us. Mr. Chopra, we spoke about a lot of stocks. Any disclosures?
No personal holdings in any of the stocks, but our customers might be having such stocks.
Siddharth, for you?
I personally don't hold any of the stock which I have discussed, but my client and organization must be holding. Thank you.
Ruchit, for you?
I personally don't have any holdings in the stocks that you have recommended, but we have given such recommendations to our clients, so they may have some holdings.